This is Jed. Jed looks like a broken man. Jed asked for help from the Forman Brothers, and this is what he got.
The one in the attic's going off right now, then.
Oh, Jesus! A little bit of footage there. You see Josh Foreman. Here's something move in the house. Something that's reported to happen in this house. He steps out of shot, and whilst he is out of shot, something bangs. And these three clowns jump about screaming, "Oh, hell no." What a way to put somebody that's asked you for help at ease.
Attic's going off the music box.
Come forward. Whoa! Jesus. Big dark shadow right here. I hope my camera caught that. I don't have no lights or anything up here.
That's right. You saw a car headlight go past the window and cast a shadow. But these three think that it's a dark mass in the room. They claim that this is a demon house. This is disgusting, and this ain't the half of it. Josh, Rocky, and Sean Foreman, aka the Forman Brothers, aka Paranormal Nightmare. Three brothers who suffered a childhood haunting that have gone on to become prominent figures in the paranormal through their investigations on YouTube and their other media projects. Beardos, weirdos, boss and ghouls, how are you all doing? That little introduction I wrote there, it would fall in line with what the Forman Brothers do, what people think of the Forman Brothers, despite the fact that I've caught them faking. Anyone remember the demonic head in the window that turns out to be a bush? Mythos and the Shape catching them faking, me catching them faking numerous times, them investigating a fake haunting from a TikTok family. But the Forman Brothers always got away with more than others because in the back of everyone's minds, it's like, but they do help people. They are so kind and they come across very well. My initial interactions with the Forman Brothers were great. They respected my opinion on things. They respected my tenacity in the way I debunk and the way in which I stand up for people when they are treated the wrong way on the platform. Up until I dared question them, and I questioned them politely. And suddenly those good old Christian boys, they turned the screw. They started banning people in the communities for supporting me. They started telling paranormal teams that they're no longer allowed to associate with them if they continue to support me. They made claims of bullying. They made claims of toxicity. But one of the more egregious things that they did was claim that debunkers do nothing but steal content. While they were happy for me to make content about them in a positive manner, that wasn't theft. As soon as I questioned, suddenly I'm with content thief. But what happens when these good old Christian boys turn their backs on the people that made the channel for them? And I'm not talking about their audience. So if you've watched the Forman Brothers at all, you know they go into private locations where people have asked for help with hauntings, and 9 times out of 10 the Forman Brothers are quick to shout out it's demonic. In fact, the video that I'm going to be discussing, whilst not showing much of it, is labelled a demonic haunting. But that was never the case with this house. How would I know that? Because I've been speaking to the family involved in this case, the family that the Forman Brothers initially set out to help. So on the 3rd of December at 2:25 in the afternoon, I received a series of messages from a gentleman called Jed Linneman. He doesn't mind me using his name because the episode with the Forman Brothers is still up on their channel. And obviously he uses his real name in the video, so I'm not doxing anyone here. And his message reads, "Please get in touch with me. Paranormal Nightmare done an investigation on my haunting, and I desperately need your opinion. I also have some very interesting information you will be interested in hearing about how they conduct their investigations." And when I get things like this, I'm initially a little standoffish because A, I have to link that this person was really in the video, and then I have to make sure it's not just an angered fan and things like that. So I respond with, "Hello, how can I help? Just to warn you, Paranormal Nightmare do not like me at all, and I'm not a fan of theirs. And first of all, do you have a link to the episode? I can give you my opinion on it, but I will only ever be truthful. And I have watched the episode, and it's the usual Paranormal Nightmare Forman Brothers nonsense, where the equipment and the mobile phone applications are the proof of the paranormal. Strangely, this is one of the few episodes of the Forman Brothers I've watched where things happen that are reported to happen in that house that I have not been able to debunk. But I've only quick scanned through it. There are reports of doors opening and closing on their own, of banging and knocking, and that happens in this investigation. And how do these very professional, helpful paranormal investigators react when something bangs in a room with them? They run away screaming. So Jed replies to me with, "I've been watching you a lot lately, and that's what prompted me to try and get in touch with you. I respect your work very much, and I greatly appreciate your response. I asked them for help because I had no one else to turn to, and they appeared to care about helping families. My question for you is, did they fake anything in my investigation for views? Because after the activity started back up, they have refused to have any contact with me again, or refused to have any contact with me again after the premiere. My episode is season 13, episode 6, but I'll see if I can find a link to it for you. And the Forman Brothers labelled this Demon House, Paranormal Nightmare TV. Jed makes no claims of demonic attachments. In fact, Jed isn't even religious. I need help. I didn't want just anyone investigating this after they did because I was afraid to make it worse. They gave me absolutely no information about their findings, no explanations or anything. A month later, they dropped the episode and they have never spoken to me again. They offered no help or even advice. Thank you so much for anything and everything. Even just your concern and response is more than they have offered me. I fear I may have been used for views, and I am still suffering from this haunting with nowhere to turn. I'm right back at square one. If you go and watch that episode, you will see the state that this family is in. The ex-wife is grieving and mourning the death of her father. This gentleman, Jed, is mourning the death of his marriage through grief, through this potential haunting. And then the Forman brothers turn up like knights in shining armour, get the video footage, and it's the last to hear of them. So I respond with, that is truly, truly horrible. I'm so sorry this has happened to you. At a guess, they used phone apps to gather evidence, because this is before I started watching it, and that's what they do. I'm not a churchman myself, but in order for it to be demonic, it would have to be religious, as in, are you religious? If not, then the claims of demonic hauntings are just a title for clickbait for YouTube, and unfortunately, it's at your expense. If religion plays a part here, my best suggestion would be the church. I know this may sound like a horrible question, but I have to ask, is there a history with yourself with drugs and or alcohol? Because I've had suspicions for a long time that they target vulnerable people. I'm watching the episode now. The devices and the gadgets that they are using are not proof of anything paranormal. In fact, there's more proof of false positives than actual proof of the paranormal. And I'm sorry if these questions seem intrusive, but they cannot keep getting away with this. Jed responds with, there were no religious factors involved. We had no idea what was actually happening or what it was. So we were keeping an open mind about it all. We were searching for help. My ex-wife and I are both educated and professional, so we were trying to be careful about who we got involved. Neither of us are drug users or drinkers. We split and got divorced, and I was emotionally destroyed when all of this started. I respond with, looking at you guys in the video, the drugs don't seem to be an issue. You both look healthy. Your ex-wife is clearly grieving, which is something else people like them target. Jed responds with, you're not being intrusive at all. I asked you for your opinion, and I'm an open book, sir. And then I ask a question. Did they ask about drugs or alcohol? And Jed replies with, she was grieving for her father and I was grieving for our marriage. And then I ask, are you happy for me to cover this? And maybe someone will see this that can actually help you, not just rinse you for views and the clout on the internet. Now, the reason these comments are kind of seem jumbly is I was actually live streaming when these messages first started to come in. This initial chat was about 6 hours, and obviously I'm busy, he's busy, so we kind of answering questions from further up, but we've already posted the next question. That's why it seems a bit jumbled. All of this will be on screen for you guys to see. If I tell you something man to man, can you promise me that it will not be connected to me in the future? And I reply, I won't do or say anything you don't want me to. I won't make any content about this if you don't want it. It's just that I'm in the UK and I can't offer a lot other than a voice and trying to show the brothers for what they really are. And I actually feel sick at the state of your ex-wife is in over this, because at this point I'm still watching the video. Please understand that I'm not for a second doubting what you guys are or have been through. The pain in both of your faces isn't easy to act out. Jed replies, I'm a very respectful and respectable man, and I don't want to be the same as these guys by outing them for their personal issues. So that's getting a bit odd, right? But I totally agree with you that their practices need to be stopped. I am the most upset about how we were treated when we asked for help. They showed up for the investigation and they reeked of alcohol. Now, this bit was initially not going to be included in this video, but in discussions with Jed and me saying, look, if you want me to out them for everything, I'll out them for everything. If you want me to leave the alcohol out of this, we'll leave that out. And then Jed asks the question, how can one focus on an investigation if they have been drinking? And I reply simply with, they can't. Now, this is not me saying that the Forman brothers are turning up to this place reeking of alcohol. This is the homeowner. This is the person that has asked them out for help, and he can smell alcohol on them on arrival. Best, unprofessional. At worst, completely inappropriate. But again, we can't prove that they were smelling of alcohol. This is just Jed's word. But if I'm going to side with one side over the other, am I going to side with the channel that has been caught out lying on numerous occasions, or this guy that's come to me for help? And help he's getting from me. I was a complete skeptic before all of this started up in my home, and I spent well over a year dismissing everything that was happening before I finally reached out to someone for help, then wound up being used for views and left behind with absolutely no info on what I was dealing with. So I'm still replying here to the alcohol thing. Anything that alters your state of mind cannot be trusted. Apart from that, it's really unprofessional. How do you want me to approach this? I can leave out or put in anything that you want or need to say in. The fact they do not offer aftercare is something I've been trying to prove for a while. In regards to the haunting, have you had your boiler checked? Leaking gas can cause a whole host of problems. Then you need to establish, is there a railway station nearby or railway lines? Because infrasound can affect people in a massive way, and while I don't believe EMF causes the issues that many people claim it's also worth having your electrics checked. Try to rule out all of the normal things before paranormal. If all of that is clear, then potentially there is a haunting. I don't like to use the word demon because it's so heavily tied to religions, and I personally believe religions are man-made. But I do believe there is something after we go. If I can make a video of this, maybe we can get you some proper help off people that actually know what they are doing and actually care. I'm friends with Jason Halls, and while he may not be able to help directly, maybe he can point us in the direction of someone reputable that can. I will help as much as I can here. I didn't go to Jason Halls in the end because I found help closer by to Jed, somebody else that I trust in the field to help a family out. So Jed has reached out to other families they investigated to see if they got the same results, and it's clearly a trend with them. Again, I have no proof of this is just what Jed is telling me. All I wanted was some information or opinions on what I was dealing with and what to do about it. Thank you so much for your concern, brother. It means the world to me. I reply with, so they are having things pushed over and moved in the video. Is this something that you experienced, aka poltergeist activity? Jed responds, I've actually done a bunch of research and done some more scientific investigations on my own. I do have a lot of factors such as the ones you've mentioned. My main issue is none of the strange stuff started until several years after I bought the home, and then the trauma happened, as in the wife's father passing away. But the door slamming and the footsteps are very common in this house. It got so bad we thought someone was sneaking inside the house or frogging us. If you don't know what frogging is, it's people, for some bizarre reason, break into houses, live in the attic and crawl spaces, and then they mess with the family, but eat their food and leave things out of place to freak the family out while they're living there watching them get freaked out. So my reply, okay, so my first thought is obviously the grief. It can and will affect people to huge degrees. And in times of stress or upset, our human minds are capable of doing amazing things. Like when weak people lift cars off kids, etc. because of the adrenaline and your mind kicking into gear. Most poltergeist cases seem to be centered around kids in the teens, mostly female kids in their teens. Puberty, etc. The mind is all over the place, and then suddenly things start to move and lights start to flicker. I'm wondering if your ex-wife's grief was so powerful that she somehow could have caused this. I'm not blaming her or saying that's what happened. I'm trying to look at all of the angles. The more information I have, the better. I could potentially get you some help. Is this haunting still happening? Is it still happening to the same degree, worse, or not at all? While showing the Forman Brothers up for what they really are will be an absolute pleasure, I'm not just going to throw out a video out there and let you sink. And also, did they ask any of the questions that I've asked? Jed responds with, the activity calmed down after the cleansing, but it started back up. That's why I tried to get back a hold of them to see what I could do about it. The grief between us was definitely a factor. She moved back in with me shortly after the investigation, and a couple of months after that, it slowly started back up, but we dismissed most of it. I'm not trying to puff myself up, but I do one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, and I was a fighter for a long time, and I thrive on stress and pressure. But after a couple of years of this strange shit, I'm afraid of walking around this damn house in the dark. It sounds silly, but the things we hear and see are just too much to be explained away. While I may have come across a little sort of dismissive there, this is me trying to get a reading on Jed, because if Jed responds in anger to me probing about the haunting, probing about his relationship, then I've got to take that into consideration, that he's quick to trigger, quick to fire off, and that's not what happened here. He was welcoming of my questioning, no matter how intrusive I got. I mean, to the point where I even say, you know, was your ex-wife responsible for this? And he doesn't overreact. He doesn't shift the blame. Sorry, something else I meant to ask. Any history of mental health, not just depression, but anything at all? Not for me to poo-poo your experiences away, but it's something they should ask before they ever step foot in someone's home. Most of the people they help live in poor conditions where drugs and alcohols are seemingly playing a part. They're the most immoral, irresponsible channel out there, and I'm absolutely disgusted that I thought for a time these were the good guys. And it doesn't sound silly at all. I did security for 13 years. I was a court-appointed bailiff slash bounty hunter slash debt collector for a while. The reason I put bounty hunter in there, it's not called bounty hunting in the UK. I served warrants for people that skipped bail. In the States, it would be called bounty hunting. In the UK, it's nowhere near as exciting. You turn up at their house, if they open the door, you sling them in a van, you take them to the police station or to court. I'm capable of being pretty fearless, but I've had experiences that have scared the shit out of me. Jed replies, I remember when you believed they were legit. I don't know if they believe that what they're doing is right and just refuse to change or what, but just ditching us afterwards was totally wrong. And then I apologise for swearing because it's a bad habit of mine and I haven't heard this guy swear. I don't want to offend him. Don't be, we are real people too, brother. They did ask those questions and they made us sign a bunch of paperwork, but we never got the copies of. Now this paperwork, it could be for rights to the footage. I've had this at haunted locations or paid locations. You have to sign waivers. But to turn up into somebody else's house and ask them to sign a waiver just seems a bit strange, unless it's just for the rights for the video footage. But they don't have proof. Nothing was ever provided after the fact. I respond with, I don't think they believe in any of it. Maybe they started legit, but the people they work with now, the people they show support to, shows it all. So again, I then get into a conversation about them banning people from working with them and, you know, kicking people out of live streams for wearing Beardo t-shirts and the profile pictures on the YouTube videos, etc. And I say, I assume the paperwork was for the rights to the footage to remain with them. So I get into the paperwork and what it could be, but Jed doesn't know. Then I ask, what was the last contact they had with you? Jed replies with, Sean responded to my wife a couple of times directly after the investigation, but never once to me, and I also found that suspicious. Especially in the situation her and I were in at the time, and him drinking during our investigation. I found that disrespectful. So not only have they turned up reeking of alcohol, and potentially from what I'm reading here, were they drinking on the investigation, or at the very least Sean was drinking on the investigation, but he's messaging recently split ex-wife, refuses to engage with Jed, but spoke to his ex-wife. I'm not going to put two and two together here to come up with four, but alarm bells are ringing, you know what I mean? A vulnerable lady, and that's who he speaks to, not the man. When they were wrapping up at the end of the night, Josh told us he would become an ordained minister just to remarry her and I if we chose to do so. I trusted them with everything, and I feel totally betrayed now. Imagine your knights in shining armour turn up, they help you, and then they offer you aftercare. They offer to a very personal help in getting your marriage back on track, and then as soon as that door is closed, it's closed. Apart from messaging your ex-wife. Okay, so what are you happy with me bringing up from this conversation? I'm going to speak to a guy I know, Jeff. He runs a channel called Boo Productions. He's a good, honest guy, and he used to be part of the Warren Foundation. He's taken a huge leap leaving them and siding with debunkers, but he's investigated a ton of homes and he's not about the views. I am so sorry you've been treated this way. Jed replies with, I'm comfortable with anything you decide to use. I feel like an asshole for telling you they were drinking. I don't want to ruin anyone's personal image. What they've done is wrong, yes, but I don't want to damage anything personal like that. What do you think? I reply with, they didn't think of the damage turning up under the influence, even if it's only 1 or 2 drinks, but I can by all means leave that out. What area of the States are you from, just so I know for asking to get help to you? I can't promise anything, but I'll do my best to not only show them for what they are, but to try and get you some help. And then this bit blew my mind. Jed replies, they came back to our town and done an episode on a pure faker that I know faked it because he had seen our episode, and they still refused to speak to us. The episode was absolutely horrible, so I know what they are doing it. So I know that they are doing it for views. There is nothing but a toilet flush in the whole episode. So then I say, you know, I wouldn't put it past them, basically, because they've investigated a fake haunting by a famous TikToker. There's nothing they won't do for views, and it's sickening that they called me the bad guy. So Jed tells me where he lives, and then thank you again so much for everything. I am so happy that I reached out to you. You present yourself in such a real and honest manner that I trusted you right away. So I reply with, you're not the asshole here, Jed. They have used you and your family in your family's grief. Jed replies, the truth hurts sometimes, brother, and that TikTok episode you were talking about was the beginning of the end for them. I reply, what's worse is they potentially stumbled into a real haunting and they've made a mockery of it with these stupid devices and then turning their back when they got their pound of flesh. I'm angry for you. I have taken a few underhanded swipes at them before, like saying, good old Christian boys, you're not very Christian, but I'm passionate about this. Jed replies, there is so much more to this, all that her and I would like to tell you. Maybe we could do a video call or something sometime, so we don't have to type it all out. It's up to you, in the interest of getting out as much information as possible. I'll reply with, absolutely. Okay, I've also spoken to Jeff Slater, who is only an hour and a half from you, and should you want or need his help, he will happily speak to you as soon as tonight if need be, to get a feel for what's going on in your home and look at getting you some help. Do you have a preferred contact method he can speak to you on? So then I basically exchanged numbers between the parties and kind of introduce them, tell Jeff the backstory, exactly what's gone on, the Forman Brothers' involvement, times that these guys are available to speak, etc. I also then tried to put Jed at ease with saying Jeff has had to help people in the aftermath of YouTubers and ghost hunters before. I trust the guy, and luckily, considering the size of the United States, he lives relatively close by. He may even be able to put your mind at ease a bit. It's never a problem. You're an absolute blessing. Is there anything I can do to show you my appreciation? No, there's not, Jeff. Jed, you coming to me with trust is more than enough. But okay, Jeff is going to drop you a message once he's done with work, touch base with you and arrange things with you. And Jed, despite what people tell you, I don't do this for money. Sure, YouTube pays me, but when someone is in need, that shit is free. No paranormal investigator worth a damn would charge anyone for help with something like this. Jed replies, you're a solid guy, I'm very old school, and a man who is only as good as his integrity. Thank you for everything, and please have a blessed day. Today is my birthday, and you have just given me the best gift a guy could ask for. Peace of mind for my family. So then I wish Jed a happy birthday, and hopefully this will be the start of good times for you. Again, I can't promise you anything, but I'll do what I can. Have a great birthday. You've already done plenty, thanks again, sir. And then the next day, I get a message from Jed. I just wanted to let you know that Jeff called me and we've had a very pleasant conversation. Him and his wife are going to help me and my family, and I have you to thank for that. You are a new friend. I'll respond with, you're very welcome. Keep your chin up. The cavalry has arrived. Lol. Jed responds, you guys have definitely given my wife the hope and relief that she has so much needed for her and my daughter. They are my concern. I just can't thank you enough, and I'm looking forward to seeing your coverage of our story if you so choose to use it. I reply with, oh, I'll be covering it. And with your permission, maybe a multiple part series. The first part being your story, as told through the text. Second part, if you're up for it, a recorded video call. Third part, the follow-up with the help from Boo Productions and the findings. I'm also hoping it'll make others want to speak out. Jed replies with, I believe in your cause and I want to be a part of it. I would love to do a video chat with you and my wife, and we are going to do one with Boo Productions and his wife as well. You guys are helping us, and we want to help you guys too. Truth is power, my friend. Spread the word and keep in touch. I respond with, absolutely. I'm actually excited for this. It could help so many people. Thank you for trusting me. And then Jed's replied, and I didn't see this until just now. You guys have really opened our eyes to what those guys are doing to people. They have time to go live for hours at a time or on vacation enjoying their families, but they can send a text to hook us up with someone that can help. You guys don't know us or owe us, and you have already done more for us in a day than they did together. And they are getting paid for our pain. We shared our lives with those guys because we thought they wanted to help. You're absolutely right. Together, we can help people from going through this mess. Just imagine, for a second, if you're a believer or a non-believer, that there is something going on in your home. That you are terrified of your own home, and then you see these reputable paranormal explorers, these guys that do God's work, anointing places with holy oil, casting evil spirits out, and you fall hook, line and sinker for it, and then the video goes out without any input from you, and then when you reach out after the fact for more help, you're greeted with nothing. This is a year later that these have been going through this. After a year, they have to approach a debunker. And in one day, I managed to get hold of somebody that can get them the help, that has had a conversation with them the same day. And I know Jeff is planning on visiting there, and they're planning on having these video calls and conferences. And we're going to record as much of this as we can, because I think it's important that everybody out there sees what the Forman Brothers really are and what they're really doing. This isn't about helping families, and this is something I bought into. I thought these guys were genuinely trying to help families. I gave them a bit of a pass on some of their investigation methods, because at the end of the day, they were helping people. But they're not. They turn up with the cameras and they help people, but as soon as those cameras switch off, they're out of there. They don't go back. Unless maybe the initial video did really well, then maybe they'll go back. They have left somebody in limbo for nearly a year, and they have to approach somebody on the other side of the world, try to help them out. Now, in regards to the Foreman's video at this place, there are some bumps and knocks and door movements that could have been faked, but it's unclear. So potentially they actually stumbled into a real haunting here. And what do? They title it Demon. They haven't titled it Demon because that's what they believe what it is. They have titled it Demon because that is what triggers the YouTube algorithm. The only demons that were in house were called Rocky, Sean, and Josh. They are the evil entities in that house for putting that family through this crap. To then put out a video stating it was demonic activity when that was never on the table. They haven't looked at any logical explanations. They've just gone in with all the beepy flashy devices and gone, yep, that's a demon. But they didn't even tell the family that. The family had to wait a month for the video to get edited and go out before they saw what the Forman Brothers think this is. And again, I am only reporting on what this homeowner has brought to me. So the next episode I will be doing on this will be a video call conference between myself, Jed, and his ex-wife, because his ex-wife is still traumatized by this, and Jed is still trying to help his ex-wife. Not many men do that sort of thing. This is the judge of character that I'm getting from Jed. I poked and I prodded a little bit to see if he would snap back at me or tell me to shut up or mind my own business or don't do this, don't do that. He didn't do any of those things. He has been a completely open book about all of this. Any of the prodding never made it uncomfortable, and I assume, and as far as I know, Jeff has had the same interactions with him because they spoke that night. This is my interactions with Jeff from Boo Productions. Hey Jeff, I may need your help with something. I just need permission before I pull the trigger. But it's the fucking Forman Brothers. Real shady shit and a family left in the lurch. They've been pulled apart by all of this. They're still haunted and still scared of their own home. So I may need your help directing them to better help from trusted sources. And you are one of the few Americans I know that won't take the piss out of them for views and clout. And this guy needs help. Jeff responds, you know where he's from. The brothers make a lot of videos close to where I live. I'll definitely try to help the guy, and none of it will be on YouTube. I reply with, not yet. I've got the episode, but I'm waiting for permission before I share anything private with you. Hopefully you or someone you know will be able to help him, or even just speak to him. I'll keep you informed as I find out, because I'm raging at those three idiots. Rocky, Sean, and Josh. And then I tell Jeff where this guy is from. Jeff replies, keep me in the loop. Almost every client that I've ever dealt with has had some ghost hunter or psychic scare the shit out of them before they contact us. And the Formans are worse than any string pulling or masking that the others do. This guy's only an hour and a half from me as we are in Toledo, Ohio. So I thank Jeff. You're a legend. Thank you so much. I don't want to do what the Formans did. Take the content and run. I've obviously said I can't promise them it'll get fixed, but I can try and get good people to attempt to help. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff replies, I'll keep it to myself, but there is a paranormal nightmare episode about this guy, and I've given him the episode. So we confirm times and dates and things like that, exchange numbers, and then the next day I get an update from Jeff. Well, it's 2 o'clock in the morning because obviously time zones. Just an update. Dana and I have talked to them for over an hour tonight. We did our thing trying to tone down the fear. We have an official interview set up with them on Thursday to do our questionnaire. They seem like a genuine small-town normal people. My blood pressure is high because I can't stand the Forman Brothers. They were very happy that you hooked us up. And I reply with, awesome, thank you, Jeff. I really appreciate you taking this on. And we have a conversation about spectral paranormal, and they had absolutely shocking behavior in the community recently. I'm in the UK. I don't do residential hauntings because I think it's dangerous to do it without the right mindset and without the right intentions. I think it's very, very dangerous to go into somebody's home and convince them that, yes, it is haunted, or push their beliefs that it's haunted. I think it's even more dangerous to say the word demonic at the same point without understanding mental health and things. I think it's dangerous to go into somebody's house that truly believes it's haunted, potentially by a family member, and then say, nah, nothing here, mate. I think that could do damage. There are so many things that you have to take into account before you step foot over somebody's door to investigate their claims. Now, Jeff, I trust because I know of his history, numerous paranormal locations, residential hauntings and things, and he's not in it for shock value. He's not in it to make a YouTube video. He's not in it for clicks or views. So while Jed has approached me for help and to out his experience, which is exactly what I'm doing here, I haven't just taken what he's asked asked me to look at and run with it and gone, oh, here's your video. Woohoo! There's aftercare going to happen here. I'm keeping in touch with Jeff from Boo Productions about anything that happens in this case involving Jeff and Jed, I will be informed of. I will keep in contact with Jed. I will have this video call with Jed. It'll probably be in the new year now, but we'll be recording it so you guys can see our interactions. If we can get Jeff from Boo Productions involved in that live, absolutely fine. In that recording, absolutely fine. He may not want to because he doesn't do that residential stuff for growth on YouTube. I think it's important that people understand that there is help out there for them. The debunkers, while we physically may not be able to help people out, we can direct people to more reputable sources, people that are not about the clicks and the views. It genuinely makes me wonder what could have happened here. If Jed's message had got lost in with the influx of people sending me Ring doorbell footage and really bad CCTV footage of ghosts in their houses, I wonder what could have happened if I couldn't have offered him the help. Kind of worrying, right? Now, I am some guy at the other end of the world with a far smaller reach, and in one day put these people more at ease than these apparent professional God Squad boys. I think the Forman Brothers are vile for this. Now, it could just be that these guys are busy. It could just be that they've forgotten the case. But they've got a duty of care to every family they have ever worked with. If they have been into somebody's house, and found signs of a haunting or pretended they found signs of a haunting, then they have a duty of care to make sure that family is safe. Safe from their own mental health, safe from a potential demonic infestation. Not that I believe in it, but these people will. These people fall hook, line and sinker for this bullshit. And this is the type of thing that really, really grips my shit. This is the type of thing that is going to lead to somebody taking their own life. And the Forman Brothers, or people like them, will ultimately be held accountable and responsible for it. They are not behaving in the correct way. They are not doing anything right here. You cannot go into a house, pull out one of these, pull out a Spirit Box radio, pull up your ghost tube or your spirit talker or any of the devices and then say, yeah, your house is haunted. Not only is it haunted, but it's demonic. They titled this video Demonic because of a few knocks and then the gear going off. How does the Forman Brothers equipment trigger more than anyone else's? Well, not anyone else's, but it triggers about as often as Omar's, the Twin. Can you see where I'm going? In my experience, the equipment doesn't trigger that often. Very rare does the equipment trigger. Unless, of course, you know how to manipulate the equipment. But then to go into somebody's house, potentially be triggering that equipment for views and clicks on your own channel, not give your findings to the family, and then a month later put up a video saying it's a demon. Congratulations, Rocky, Josh, and Sean. You have scared the shit out of these people, and you have left them scared for an entire year, to the point where they have to approach somebody halfway around the world for me to circle back around to halfway around the world to get them the help that you should have provided them in the first place. Or better still, not go there, label it demonic. If you had never gone there, this wouldn't have been as much of a problem. You took a grieving family that are in tatters. They are split up because of this haunting. The haunting is what caused them to split up. You go there and cleanse the place. The haunting seems to stop. They actually rebuild their relationship. And then when things start happening again, they reach out to help from you. Nothing. Crickets. Apart from early on when Sean would only reply to the obviously broken down female. Like I've said, I have had my suspicions about you guys for quite some time. You have been caught numerous times faking, but this is next level shit. I would have had more respect for you if all of these families were paid off to act, but they're not. You're convincing these people that you're legitimate. You're convincing these people that you're doing the Lord's work, and then you turn your back on them and you just walk away and leave them sink or swim. Absolutely abhorrent behavior. And then when the shape catches you faking, when Mythos catches you faking, when I catch you faking, we're nothing but bullies and content thieves. Now who's the bad guys? Now who are the bad guys? Is it the 3 debunkers? I don't think so. Or is it the 3 guys that enter people's homes under false pretenses, offering them love, care, support, the light of God, and as soon as you finish pressing record on that camera, you're done with them. Scrape them off. Done. On to the next cash cow. I will not be letting this slide. I will not be letting this give up. So a message to anyone that's watching this that's been like, hey, I've had an experience like that with the Forman Brothers. In my channel description, there is an email address, beardosteam@gmail.com. If you've had these experiences at the hands of the Forman Brothers, please email that. My moderating team will go through those emails and forward them to me. Make sure you leave a way for me to contact you, and then I will do my due diligence. I will make sure that I can match up the person you say you are with the episode and make sure that those things intersect. Unfortunately, if there are issues with drugs and alcohol, I won't be able to help there, because I have no training in drugs or alcohol dependency at all. I have no training in mental health. It would be immoral of me to pretend that I can help with that when I cannot. I can only help with getting your story out there. If you feel that you have been betrayed or let down by the Forman Brothers or any other team, if other teams have been into your home, made outlandish claims and then just left you to it, scared of your own home, and you want those people outed, then come to me, because I will out anyone, and I will out anyone without a care in the world, with my conscience clear. This is something I never ask people to do. Share this video, please. Share this video so people that are out there that are struggling after morally bankrupt paranormal investigators have been into the homes and scared the shit out of them realise there's help out there for them. Jeff from Boo Productions being able to reach out to people via phone calls, text messages or whatever, and talk with common sense and try to put people at ease is far more important than views and clicks and likes and all the rest of it. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now, I understand this is going to be a touchy subject. People are going to be rightly livid at this. Fans of the brothers, people that are not fans of the brothers. There's going to be a mix of emotions, I imagine, from a lot of people. But please, don't let this descend into name-calling and mudslinging. And the fact is, I have been approached by what I perceive to be a victim of the Forman Brothers, and I have told his story. Part 1 of his story, because despite what all of these fakers, liars and people screaming para unity right now will tell you, we actually give a fuck. Much love to you all. Beardo out.